Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm here to teach you anthropology. So first tell me, why did you choose anthropology? Anyone? Sorry? Less dynamic. Okay. Less dynamic. And? Anyone?
Basing upon the database.
So you say almost the same. It's more of a static. Have you seen this year's paper? Have you seen? Okay. Any more? Why did you choose anthropology? Guys? That's it? Do we have any overlapping with GS? History? Yes, society? Culture is a part of society, I guess. Right? And what is the other important factor? How much does anthropology contributes to main score? Sorry? How many marks does the two papers carry? Yeah, tell me. 500 marks. So do you know the highest scores of this subject? 300 plus, right? That gives you edge above all GS topics. So we have to summarize why anthropology is so important for this exam is that we have a static syllabus. We have a structure, we have a template for answers. How do you write answers? Like you have definition part, you need to write a case study, you need to write a diagram, you need to give a flow chart. This is what a standard template for the exam. You need not put an additional effort rather than going through this, right? And coming to this anthropology, we have two papers, paper 1 and paper 2, right? Whatever static you are saying, all the theoretical concepts come in paper 1. And paper 2 is highly dynamic paper. Have you seen, if at all you have seen this 2024 paper, it's completely dynamic. It's not out of syllabus. Asked in that paper, second paper deals with tribal issues. So rather than asking the health issues of the tribals, he asked the COVID-19 paradigm, health paradigm. So indirectly he is asking what are the issues that tribals are facing, especially in the sector of health, right? You need to understand the syllabus first. So let's decode syllabus. We have paper 1 and paper 2. So first we will see the big picture of paper 1. In paper 1, you have 12 chapters. You can divide these entire 12 chapters into 4 broad categories. First one is a cultural anthropology. So I think my writing was legible, right? So in cultural anthropology, you have from 2.1 to chapter 8. 2.1 is culture, 2.2 society, 2.3 marriage, 2.4 family, 2.5 kinship, and 3 is, I think, economic anthropology, 4 is political anthropology, 5th is religion, 6th is anthropological thought, 7th is language, and 8 is research methodologies. So all these are covered under socio-cultural anthropology, right? Next, biological anthropology. In biological anthropology, you have 1.7, which is basic structure of the cell. It starts from DNA replication, protein synthesis, and all. So here we study most biomedical concepts from 9.1 to 9.8. Mendelian genetics, human genetics, chromosomal aberrations, epidemiological anthropology, nutritional anthropology. And also applications of biological anthropology, chapter 12. In chapter 12, you study how anthropology is used in different fields like sports, kinanthropology, and in forensics, forensic anthropology, and also anthropometric measurements. You have chapter 10. You study about growth and development, somatotyping, how you classify body types, and why you should classify body types. This is chapter 10. Chapter 11. You study the relevance related to fertility and fecundity, like menarche, menopause, population factors, right? So, with this we'll complete biological anthropology. Next coming, archaeological anthropology. What do we have in this? This section has an overlap with paper 2, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. In paper 2, just check 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. In these chapters, we study the Paleolithic cultures, Harappan cultures, along with that ethnoarchaeology. This is in paper 2. And in paper 1, we cover fossil primates. 1.4, 1.5, 1.6. The human ancestors which were extinct, like Australopithecus, Homo erectus, Homo sapiens neanderthalensis, and Homo sapiens sapiens. Please check in your syllabus sheets, right? So the last one, linguistic anthropology. This has only one chapter, chapter 7. And from this chapter, a bit of dynamic questions are being asked, and mostly they are 10 marker questions, okay, where you don't have a choice. So they have asked questions like glottochronology, like that. So this is a breakdown of paper 1. Am I clear? Any queries, any doubts so far? Do you need any clarification, or do you need any, should I repeat anything? So you understood this, right? Paper 1. Let's go to paper 2. So in paper 2, we have 9 chapters. Broadly, paper 2 can be classified into 3 categories. We study caste. Caste studies, like what are Indian anthropologists? Majority of paper 1 contains anthropologists from other countries like British anthropologist, from American anthropologist, okay? So in this part, we cover Indian anthropologists, Indian studies, Indian tribal studies, Indian village studies. Village study and tribal study. So here we study what is caste, what is a caste paradigm in India, how caste plays an important role in politics of the country, how caste plays an important role in defining the social structure of our society, right? And how changes are coming to the caste. Now we don't have so much rigidity in caste system, right? So these are all we study in this section. And coming to the village, we study the peasant society. Of course, caste is one of the important factor of the village system, but a village society consists of caste, joint family, and also peasant society. So we'll study in detail. So we get to know so many new concepts like tribe caste continuum, sacred complex, so and so. And coming to tribal studies, this is a predominant scope we have in paper 2. So majority we have to deal with the studies, how tribes are genetically classified by different thinkers, and what are their occupations, what are the problems faced by tribes, Indian tribes. See, you can write a general answer for this as well. But what makes an answer different from a GS answer and an anthropology answer? For example, if I say that what are the impact of globalization on tribes? Please, could anyone tell me? What is the impact of globalization on Indian tribes? Give me some points. What is the impact? What are the problems they are facing? First thing, mining. Yes, people are going to the hilly areas, they are mining. So what is happening to their people in tribal areas? Habitat and pollution of the resources like water, air pollution, and land alienation. Their land is being snatched away, and deforestation. So this is a normal GS answer. Anthropology answer. When you are writing anthropology answer, how will you write? You have to mention a thinker, you have to mention a concept. For example, LP Vidyarthi. He is an Indian anthropologist, eminent anthropologist. He gave the concept of, NMS complex. What is NMS complex? Nature, man, spirit complex. He says that man is interdependent on nature and supernatural being. So, for example, there was the hill. For you, if you see this hill, it was just a source of income to the tribe. But for the tribe, it's a god. He worshipped the hill as a god. So he is interdependent on it and he is worshipping it. So when you snatch away the land on this hill, it's not like he is losing some economic source. He is losing his god, his emotional connect. So this is how you will write the impact of globalization on a tribe from an anthropological perspective. So now you understood what is a GS answer and anthropology answer, right? For the same question, right? So this is paper 2, all application part. It's not static. You have to read the theory, you have to apply for the questions they ask. So I think I forgot one major chapter in paper 1, chapter 6. Anthropological theories. Chapter 6 is a connect between paper 2 and paper 1. So chapter 6 we have different theories given by different thinkers, different schools of thought. We have evolutionism. Evolutionism speaks about how culture evolved, what is the origin of culture and how culture evolved. For this we have different thinkers like Tyler, Morgan. So this chapter is like a bridge between paper 1 and paper 2, and this is very important. What is the other one? Historical particularism. This is a hallmark of anthropology because it tells you a concept called cultural relativism. Wait a minute. First tell me, what is anthropology? Sorry? Study of man. Study of man. What do you study about man? So evolution of a man. You mean biological evolution of a man? Sorry? Both? What is both? Culture and? Of which man? Which man? Today's man? Yesterday's man? Then who? Which man? Which? AP man? Telangana man? It's a holistic study of man across time and space. This is very important because we study man, early man, primitive man, the evolved man, today's man. right? And across space. We study man in Europe, man in Africa, man in Asia. So I told you why anthropology is important for exam, why anthropology is important for an administrator. Why? Why you should study the biological evolution of a man? Why you should study the cultural evolution of a man? Being an administrator, what will that get you? Come on guys, think.
ఒక రిలీజియన్ ఒక హ్యాబిట్ ఉంటుంది రిలీజియన్ కానీ ఆ పర్టికులర్ మనం అండర్స్టాండ్ చేసుకోవాలి
అండర్స్టాండ్ చేసుకొని తర్వాత
వాళ్ళు ఎలా చేయాలి ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఎలా సాల్వ్ చేయాలి
ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ ప్రాబ్లమ్ సాల్వింగ్. How do you understand a man? How an administrator think and how an anthropologist think అనేది ఒక ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్తాను. Khasa, there is a tribe in Jaunsar Bawar region, Uttarakhand. In this tribe, there is a practice, marriage practice, where a women marry multiple husbands. What is that practice called? Polygamy is multiple spouses, having multiple wives, multiple husbands, polyandry. Polygyny is multiple wives, right? So when you see as a person from outsider or any other person, you see it's very savage practice. You demean it. How can a woman marry, being a Hindu, how can a woman marry multiple husbands? Right? This is a perspective. But when you become an anthropologist, when you go there, when you do a field work, then you will understand that there is a food shortage in that society. So they go slash and burn cultivation, right? And they use a very primitive technologies that they don't produce enough. So when there is a food shortage, what they do, women are the major source of fertility in that society, right? So when multiple men marry a woman, the fertility rates are low. The population is low. It's a kind of a natural regulating mechanism to ensure the local conditions. This can be understood only by an anthropologist. As an outsider, me and you will judge. They don't judge. So we call anthropology always uses cultural relativism. That is the hallmark of anthropology, and that was given by this historical particular school led by Franz Boas. Now, could you link the topics? So here this problem comes somewhere later in your chapters, in economy part, economic anthropology. But somehow you are relating here. This concept was used here. This cultural relativism was used in this topic. So an anthropologist doesn't judge cultures. They understand cultures, they appreciate cultures. But there is one drawback in this. When you start appreciating the cultures, you also appreciate human right violations. Inhumane cultural practices. When you see, like, there are certain communities like Bora communities where female genital mutilation is practiced. When you start seeing from their perspective, yeah, it is fine. But that is a violation of human right. So you need to balance. This is what anthropology teaches for an administrator. We have applied anthropology, and action anthropology. When you understand the other's problems, then you will bring out policies where people won't revolt against those policies, rather they accept it. See, for example, when you are like declaring a national park in Odisha, I think Simlipal National Park, when Simlipal National Park was being extended, the Mankidia tribe, they lost their homes. Recently, I think there was a judgment where their habitats were given back to these tribes. Why? Because the anthropological perspective helped them understand what these tribes are actually facing. This is where anthropology actually helps an administrator to bring out policies. See, administrators are what? They are change makers, right? We have to bring a change. When you have to bring a change, when you don't know what people are facing, you can't, when you're judging people from your own perspective, how can you bring your change? Bring a change that is acceptable to the tribals. So now you understood, right, why anthropology is important for exam and for an administrator. Anything I should clarify why you should study anthropology or why is anthropology important? You got a clarity now. There is a purpose. See, anthropology is not just static, it's very interesting when you get to apply this, just like our maths principles. Chalo, where did we stop in chapter 6? Historical particularism. So you got to know what is historical particularism. If I have to give a brief, the theory says that when you want to understand a culture, you study the history of that culture. Somehow it overlaps with history also. Why do you call it as a holistic science? Why anthropology is called a holistic science? Be specific. Don't be so vague. Be specific. What do you mean by holistic? It's a holistic science. Why? What do you think? What are those multi-dimensions? So in chapter, I think 1.2 or 1.3, you study the relationship with different disciplines. Yeah, if you say social science, what social science studies is, they study, like, what are social sciences? History, economics, civic, like polity. You study this in a contemporary societies. These societies, today's societies, how today's societies are, right? But in anthropology, you study contemporary societies and primitive societies as well. So it is kind of holistic. Across time you're studying, across space, right? And same thing with all the other subjects. It has overlapping with life sciences, behavioral sciences, history, geography, economics, polity. All these are part sciences. They study only one aspect. For example, if you see psychology, it studies the human individual psyche. But in anthropology, you study the collective psyche of a society, apart from studying the individual psyche as well. And this culture psychology part, it overlaps with chapter 6, Culture Personality School. So you have thinkers like Ruth Benedict, Margaret Mead, Cora Du Bois, Ralph Linton, and Abraham Cardino. What these people say? It deals with the collective psyche of the society. How culture influences personality of a culture, personality of a person. So here you have the overlap with psychology, right? And socio-cultural anthropology, I said, from 2.1 to 8. That overlaps with sociology. So there you have so much of overlapping, right? So in chapter 6 itself, you have other theories. Cognitive anthropology. See, this evolutionism, neo-evolutionism, structuralism, these theories, there are very few questions coming from these topics. The majority of the questions are coming from the most confusing theories, like cognitive. If at all you don't understand, you need to put an effort to understand these theories. Cognitive theory, symbolic and interpretative theory, postmodernism. I think this time they have asked for 20 marks. Postmodernism. There is also a question on structuralism. Right? So, when you study any single topic, that is almost linked to other topics as well. Study as a whole. Don't study as an individual bits and pieces. You won't understand anything. You need to connect for gaining good marks. Gaining 300 marks is easy as well as tricky. Unless you are able to connect both paper 1, paper 2 and each and every topic. It's highly organic content. Right? Did I miss any chapter? I think you have diffusionism as well, but these days there are no questions from that topic. Diffusionism in chapter 6. Functionalism, yeah. In functionalism, we apply functionalism across our socio-cultural anthropology. See, functionalism is nothing but they just speak about what is the function of a culture. There are two theorists, Bronislaw Malinowski and Radcliffe Brown. Malinowski says it's an individual need that drives a culture, that culture actually exists to satisfy a individual human need. This is what Malinowski says. So his theory is called biocultural functionalism. We also have Radcliffe Brown who says that the function of a culture is to maintain the society, social structure of the society. So his functionalism is called structural functionalism. That's it. Did I confuse you anywhere? Like going here and there, here and there. See, it will be a very mechanical if I say you 1, 2, 3, 4. You need to understand where the connection goes, right? It's very essential. How many engineers here? Electronics engineers? You know how the importance of electric circuit, right? Connections. That is what I've said here. Because case studies, Rayali, wherever possible, you have to write case studies. As I said, I gave you the case study of Khasa. You have to use it. Otherwise, you can give the examples of tribes. For example, when you are writing polyandry, you mention the tribe of example, this Khasa of Jaunsar Bawa region. Okay. Case studies lekunda answer raste, it's almost equal to GS answer. It's not anthropology answer. Unless you fit case studies, so you have to draw diagrams as well, wherever necessary. Example, you will just give a reference. Case study, you will explain. For example, if I say polyandry, I mention polyandry. Polyandry, I define it. I define and I'll write example. Khasa. That's it, I'll leave. When I have to write case study about cultural relativism, I'll give cultural relativism, I'll define it. Case study. I'll completely write for an outsider, so and so. For Jaunsar Bawa region, there is a food scarcity. I'll describe it. Here I'm referring it. You need not refer for everything. There are certain, when you get into, when you know the subject, you will automatically know where to write a case study and where to write an example. Depends on marks. For a 10 marker, you should not write a case study. Keep on writing case study will not give you anything. Just give reference, add many dimensions. For a 20 marker, explain case studies. Because you'll have a very minimal dimensions. You can't keep on extending dimensions, right? Any further questions? Boys? That's it. Like for preparation?
Basically, cell divisions.
See, 1.7 I think. You have cell division, you have protein synthesis, you have DNA replication. This was never asked in exam. This is just for your knowledge. In 2022 or 23, they asked about gene expression. This here you will write protein synthesis. That is just for a 10 marker. For 10, see, divide your time to how many marks, how much effort you have to put. It's not like you're doing PhD in anthropology, guys. Don't do a PhD here. We are here to crack the exam. Don't divert. I can understand that because of your enthusiasm, sometimes you will enjoy the subject so much that you want to dig into that. But please don't do that. Keep your boundaries. Define your boundaries and priorities. Just read how much is necessary. Okay? So, see, biological anthropology, it scares you. The terms like Australopithecus, Homo erectus, but exactly, but it is nothing like that. You need to know the principles, that's it. When you know the principles, see, maths is always scary unless you know what the formula is. Know the formula. Enough, recipe is done for the exam. You need not prove that you know biology so much. You need not draw that spinal cord, right? You have to draw spinal cord. When you are comparing between ape and a man, you will draw a spinal cord, not like a medical student. But basic differences. See, this is a wait, let me draw this. This is ape spinal cord. You need not give details because there is only like this. When you go with it, this is an S-shaped spine. You need need much. You just need to mention lumbar, sacrum, that's it. But be prepared to memorize terms. Just do it every day because terminology is very important in anthropology. Otherwise, that is what makes your answer different from a GS answer. Australopithecus, Homo erectus, Neanderthal, the places where you are finding them, Chrome Dry, Schwarzkranz, Homo, Hadar. These are what you have to memorize again and again. This is what anthropology is. That's it. It's not a big rocket science.